Yeah, 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2. Mic check. Hey, can y'all hear me out there? Against all odds. 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 Against all odds.
The podcast.
Shout out to Rockhound Detroit Lions, man. My pride.
All right. Good Monday morning to everybody. It is the Rise and Grind Morning Show. I'm one of your hosts, Will Rock. We'll be bringing in Eric here in just a moment, but John Morton's going to be taking the podium here in just a few moments. We're going to bring you right into that. Let me give you a quick rundown here. First and foremost, man, welcome to the Rise and Grind Morning Show. If you are interested in following your Detroit Lions all season long and the NFL stories that we're going to touch on throughout the year, you definitely found the right place. Do us a quick favor before we get rolling. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Like the stream. That helps us get out to more Lions fans just like you. And then stick around, man. We're going to be right back here with John Morton taking the podium. And then we're going to... Oh, here he is right now. Here we go.
Great. I'm excited today. Well, for a couple reasons. Tight red zone. We're in the red zone, scored touchdowns, which they've done an unbelievable job here scoring touchdowns. Top 5 in the league every year. But also just, this is our 7th day of install. So, we've put a lot on the guys here, and they've done an exceptional job. I mean, you do an install every day, that's a lot. You know what I mean? So, but I think it's going really well, and I'm really excited. I'm also excited, John Gruden's going to be here today, and he's been a big influence, mentor in my life. He's the one that got me started, and he's influenced a lot of other coaches too. So I'm excited for him to be here the next couple of days. So that being said, any questions?
I had that written down. I actually just asked you about John and just the influence he's done, both coaching philosophy and getting you a start, I guess. Yeah, he gave me my first start, as a coach. Al Davis is the one that first hired me. But John, when I got cut as a rookie in the Raiders, I went to Green Bay, for about 3 months. And John was the receiver coach there. So that's how I got to know him. And then they cut me and I went back to the Raiders. And then the following year, so when 5 years later, when John gets hired at the Raiders, I was actually working in personnel, so he asked me to come over. Hey, do you want to come over on the coaching side? So, me and David Shaw, we shared office together, and that's kind of how it started, man. So I'm real thankful that he wanted me to come over, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. Just the whole aspect of everything about the game. John was like one, the West Coast offense, the Bill Walsh and the Mike Holmgrens of the world. He's the first one that kind of ventured off, still running the West Coast type of principles, but different formations, shifts, and motions and things like that. So it just opens your eyes to the whole aspect of, everything. I thought I knew football, but man, he just put me in a room, go do this, go do that. It was projects one after another, and just all of a sudden you start learning football. So it was really cool.
First of all, I want to say go Broncos. I'm a Western Michigan grad, so nice. Shout out to our school.
Yeah.
2 questions for you, man. I want to talk about specifically the relationship that you saw with Tashard Choice and Jahmyr Gibbs, and how are they meshing along? And then second of all, do you feel any pressure at all when you're coming in a program that's been like a well-oiled machine the last 3 years? And just continue to keep that production or even take it further to the next level? What's your thoughts on, is there any pressure or anything, or is it just...
Yeah, I don't feel pressure. The good thing is I was here a few years ago, so that helps a lot. So, a lot of these players knew who I am, and we're all still getting to know each other. This is my 27th year, so, you should always feel pressure, but I don't feel anxious or anything like that. I feel very confident. And so, we'll see how this goes. We're still in the process of all learning each other. Every day I'm learning about this guy, Jared, me and him. We're very close. We're talking. I want exactly what he wants. I want to make sure, when the season does start, we're not really thinking about a lot of stuff. So let's fix all the little problems right now.
But as far as Gibbs and Choice, I think that's cool that now he's with his college coach. So there's a little comfort level right there for a player. And I think that helps.
John, we've seen some really good play from Hendon and Kyle. How much does that help your evaluation of maybe the whole unit when your reserve quarterbacks are clicking like that?
Yeah, I think it's really good. Again, install every day. That's a lot. And I think they've handled it really well. Just the operation and everything and making throws. Everything's kind of scripted right now. We've done a couple move the ball periods, and they've still done pretty well. So, and when we get in a preseason game, I'll have them highlight the plays that they like, and that's what I'll do because I want them to feel comfortable. That's important.
John, it's been a week observing and watching your offense. What's one thing that's impressed you and one thing you'd really like to see get cleaned up this week?
The one thing that's impressed me is all these weapons. I'm just trying to get the guy's balls as much as I can. But I just think the overall, the grit, their attitude, because it's been hard mentally. I want to see where they're at, and they've responded. We got a smart, tough football team. That's the way this thing is built. And I'm real happy with where we're at right now. So.
What have you seen from the offensive line and how you kind of gauging the progress there, particularly in the middle?
And we've been on pads for a few days now. So, that's the real true reading of how we're going to be. I do like where we're at right now. I think Ratledge has done a good job. We had him at center first, and now we moved him to guard. Glasso is at the center now. I think that's more natural for him. Because that center and quarterback, that needs to be right. The quarterback's got to feel right there, So, but I do like the way it's going right now. And, it's still early. The more we do it, the better we're going to get.
We see you put David and Jameer on the field together a little bit here and there. Just what do you like about those two on the field together? What challenges does that pose to a defense?
Well, go ask a defensive coordinator where you got your 5 best players on the field. So we can throw it, we can run it, we can do whatever we want. So I'm all about making the defense uneasy. And then maybe I might get an automatic defensive front coverage or a blitz or something like that. So I'm always looking to put our best players on the field at all times. So when I come from the school of multiple packages of personnel groupings, in and out of the huddle, trying to keep the defense, uneasy. That's the school I come from. So it's fun. All the coaches were trying to create different things to get these guys open or run the ball. So it's going to be a cool thing.
One of those weapons is J-Mo. He said that you're letting him run more routes than he has in the past. Yeah. I guess, what did you see or have you seen in his game that compelled you to make that decision?
Well, you've seen the skill set. He's very explosive. And this is year, 3 or 4? He's gotten better every year. He's matured. It's tough for a young receiver to come in this league because they don't run a lot of different routes in college. And now he's progressed through, and I want to take that skill set and now isolate him. And I think he's been phenomenal. Again, we're still scripting. We're giving the young guys more reps to get them prepared for the preseason. But I'm very excited where he's at right now. He's going to help us win some big games, obviously.
I'd like to build on the concept of that a little bit. When we talked to you in the spring at the Combine, you talked about just your love of game planning and really diving into the film to pick apart weaknesses of opponents. How does that compare to this time of year where you're diving into the film of your own guys and trying to maybe unlock something or find the best positions to put them in?
Yeah, so I really didn't go on vacation this year until like the last 10 days. I was just in here looking at what we did in OTAs and things like that and looking at our defense, and I basically game planned our defense. I want to put this guy here. I want to put that guy there. We want to do this versus that because I think that's important. I want them to see, where I'm coming from, what I'm going to do during the season, So if it means me getting here early like I always do, so be it. I mean, I did it this morning. You know, we got certain situations. I'm looking at our defense, and that way I can give some tips and reminders to Jared to help him. But I just love the whole aspect of just sitting in my laboratory by myself and, you know, trying to dissect the defense. I think that's fun.
The consensus among fans, it seems like, is John Morton's been here, but with a new offensive coordinator, it's going to be a lot of the same, just maybe no trick plays. Is that a false narrative out there? How aggressive can you be in year one running an offense, and are trick plays up your sleeve?
Well, we'll see. I'm going to do what whatever he wants, but we're going to have everything. We're going to have everything. So no, we're going to continue to do those things because it's worked. We're going to run things. Whatever was working, we're going to continue to do that.
Where do you see the vertical passing game going? I mean, how much do you see that being?
You guys watching practice? Yeah. Again, I'm isolating guys. I want to give them the chance, so I'm taking more shots. Plus, I want to see who can do it, and then make the corrections, whether it's a technique error or something like that. I'm all about that because we have the guys that can do it. So if you got them, utilize them.
Going back to the Jameer and David Ruben, I mean, how much is that? Again, the 20 personnel packages could be somewhat similar to what the 12 personnel was maybe 14, 15 years ago.
Say your question again.
I mean, the 20 personnel packages, I mean, how much can it be kind of the equivalent where, like what the Patriots were doing, 14, 15 years ago with the two tight ends?
Yeah.
In the sense that
Again,
running and passing there.
Again, when I'm in Pony 21, okay, what are they doing to that? So I need to know what they're doing, and then that's based on what the plays we're going to do in that package. So, it's different. But 12 personnel is different. Can I get a base defense, or am I going to go nickel? Most teams are going to go nickel with us because of our tight end. And most teams do go nickel anyway. So if you got a base defense, that's a different story. So same thing, 12 personnel or Pony 21, if they're in a base defense, okay, then we can do a lot of things. So it's based on that, what the defense is doing.
Not new, but what do you want to see from yourself, I guess, during the preseason games, just to know you are where you need to be, or shake cobwebs off or anything? And then B, you mentioned Rattles. What do you think about him?
Well, I'm going to be upstairs, so I can see it all away from all the chaos. So, no, I'm good. I feel very comfortable, this second time around. Very confident. I get the plays in and out. I'm on it. So I've learned a lot since then, so I feel really good. I love how smart he is, and he's just going to continue to grow. I mean, I thought he did an exceptional job when he was at center. I mean, that's a lot mentally, different snap counts and audible. There's a lot, and I thought he did a pretty good job. So I'm real happy where he's at.
Will he play center in the game too, or just guard now?
I'm not sure. You got to ask Dan about that.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Mr. Tirico.
All right. That was John Morton this morning giving us a rundown of the Detroit Lions offense, new coordinator here in 2025. We're going to be right back in about 15 seconds. We're going to get Eric's takes from camp this weekend. We got a full show for you guys today. Let me give you a quick rundown of what we have on the docket. It's loaded, man. We're not going to get to all this. Camp connections, obviously, from Rockhound Detroit Lions Day at camp. Eric Rintamaki is going to give us his takes. Hold in updates from around the league, including the Detroit Lions, offensive line facelift for your Detroit Lions, and Super Bowl tickets. Yes, they are on sale. How much are they? How much is it going to cost you to watch the Lions in Super Bowl 60? We'll be right back here in just a few moments.
Yeah, 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2. Mic check. Hey, can y'all hear me out there? Against all odds. 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 Against all odds.
Right. If you haven't had a chance to get all your Lions gear yet, make sure you stop into Pro Sports Zone and get it today, man. Go hook up with John Yu out there in Livonia at Pro Sports Zone. All the best prices. You know it's only the best service and wall-to-wall merchandise. Pro Sports Zone, man. Get in the zone. 37700 6 Mile Road in Laurel Park Place Mall. Get in the zone. Get it today. Good morning, Eric.
Good morning. How's it going, man?
Man, jam-packed morning already. I already got my first little meme of the day with John Morton saying, we can do whatever we want. I love it. I love that statement by him this morning. Obviously, speaking about the offense today, he has no worries. And then I didn't catch the name at first, but John Gruden coming in today, man. That's impressive. So I'm sure John Gruden's probably just doing his ways, making his rounds, if you will, around training camps, just like some of the other outlets. But let's break it down, man. Anything you want to get to in your opening 15 to get us rolling?
Yeah, so I took away something that maybe most everybody might have missed in that little press conference right there. He said that he's going to be upstairs during games. He's not going to be down on the sidelines like Ben Johnson was.
I thought that was just for practice. So he is going to be upstairs?
Yeah, that's what he was saying. During the games, he's going to be upstairs because during training camp, he has to be down on the field. But that'll be him getting a bird's eye view of every play and seeing things that you might not be able to see down on the field. So something a little bit different than old Ben Johnson. And I like the fact that he's basically saying, yeah, we're going to be doing trick plays. They worked. Why would we stop doing them?
Yeah. I got a lot of notes to talk about John Morton. So I'm just going to hold off on this email. I just got an email about some more tickets. So congratulations to everybody that got tickets last night. We made, 3 or 4 more families happy, giving out some tickets last night to training camp for this morning. And then I've got a little something going, still something brewing. So before we get into John Morton, I want to throw this out there, man. The channel members of this channel, you guys are awesome, right? You've done a lot for this channel. You've donated, every single month to be a part of this channel and watch it grow. You're in here every day or at some point throughout the day watching the content, but it is your contributions that is giving me an opportunity, giving the channel an opportunity, but all of you an opportunity to make somebody else smile. So Warrior for a Day, August 14th, I want to give 4 tickets to a cancer warrior and their family, so up to 4 people. And then I want to buy that individual the jersey of their choice. So they're going to get their favorite Detroit Lions jersey, and they're going to get a day at camp to watch a joint practice. I just need your help one more time, and that is if you know somebody that is in the position of, being a cancer survivor, having battled cancer, and we can make them smile for a day, the email, mailbag@rockdown.com. Let's make it happen. I know that there's plenty of people out there that we can help, but let's make it this one special kickoff to the season, please. So thank you to all of you. I appreciate you. All right, let's dig into Morton, man. He's so cool, calm, and collected. Like, I noticed some things in the chat there where people were saying, man, what a big difference between Ben Johnson and John Morton. He's not as fiery yet, right? I think he's probably taken a calculated approach to how he reacts in some of these press conferences, but you give him a bad game, and I bet you we see a different Morton. How excited are you, man, to see the different offense this year?
I am, and he is affirming what I thought all along, that on 3rd and 1 from the 17, he's going to run the damn ball. He's not going to go empty back set and do some stupid trickery down in the red zone when you can go up in a playoff game. He's not going to do that. This guy he's going to do what works. He's not going to try to do something out of the norm. He's going to learn from Ben Johnson's mistakes. You got to remember, Ben Johnson was only a coordinator for 2.5 seasons.
Well, to add on to that too, which he was 2.5 seasons for Ben Johnson. But the one thing that I failed to put out a video. I was exhausted this weekend, but I wanted to talk about Dan Campbell for a moment too, because he mentioned in one of the audio versions of the SiriusXM visit to training camp where he said, I'm in the offense, man. He's like, I usually start out in like the defensive rooms, but then I'm entrenched into the offense. Like that's his baby. That's what he brought to this team. He's an offensive minded coach. I think he does both very well, but we know that Dan Campbell has his fingerprints all over this offense. And the one thing that he affirmed that, last week was he's not letting go of the offense. Even though John Morton is here and he trusts John Morton, 27 years coaching in the NFL, he's still going to put the emphasis on the offense and staying involved with it. So I thought that was good to hear from Dan Campbell. Let me get into some of my notes. If you scroll down to the bottom of the sheet there, you'll see break down the presser. So today's 7th day of install. Today is one of the more fun days, which is red zone, as John Morton, you could see the big smile ear to ear, right? Red zone day. A lot of touchdowns are going to be scored, but we saw a lot of touchdowns on Saturday. A lot from one guy, and we'll get into that here after the breakdown here. But John Gruden in the house gave Morton his first shot, so I'm glad that he was giving Gruden his kudos. And, I'm glad that Gruden is not like, unlisted, if you will. I was going to say a different word. Unlisted from hanging out with the NFL teams. After everything that he went through, right, wrong, or indifferent, I'm glad that he's still around and having an opportunity to do the things that he's doing. He was asked, one of the first questions was, do you feel pressure coming into a well-oiled machine that has, had this much success? And I love the answer. No pressure. Why? Well, he was here a couple years ago, so he has some familiarity with some of the players on the team. And then it's the confidence speak, man. I love the confidence speak. The reason why he doesn't have pressure, he's confident in his abilities, but also 27 years he's been doing this. What did you take away from the first few minutes there?
Yeah, the fact that he's been doing this for 27 years. Yes, I know he was a failed offensive coordinator with the Jets, but then he was a passing game coordinator with Denver last year, and Denver did pretty darn good last year with a rookie Bo Nix. And just the fact, Ben Johnson, what was he total? Maybe 5 or 6 years total in the NFL. He came in with Patricia as a low-level coach and then got to be tight ends coach and worked his way up, which is cool. And, young mind. But I think Johnny Morton's been at this way longer, and he's been through the ups and downs, and he has learned this is how you run an offense. And you talk about Caleb Williams or JJ McCarthy or somebody else getting drafted into the perfect situation. I think John Morton was hired into the perfect situation to be the offensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions. You heard him talking
without a doubt. Without a doubt.
He's got 2 top tier wide receivers. Then he's got a couple up and comers that we got in the draft. He's got 2 tier 1 running backs and a great quarterback. What other teams can you name that have all that kind of weaponry? There's not very many situations like this around the league.
I would say that there's none.
Yeah.
I would say the Lions are in very rare territory when it comes to the weapons, as you say, that are on this team. You know what I want to do real quick? Let me pivot for just a second.
Okay.
I think what I'd like to do is I want to show his wiki. If you guys haven't seen his wiki, I think that this is like enough said. Like if I was a lawyer giving my final argument, right, my closing arguments, I would just point to this and say, Your Honor, I rest my case because just look at what the dude's done. Here we go. Let's pull in his wiki, man. This is pretty impressive stuff. All right, John Morton, American football. Let me, why is that not showing up? Hold up. Where'd it go? Let me fix it. I just want the right side of it. That's all I want. All right, here we go. Just take a look at the right side here. As a player, 1993 with the Raiders, 93 with the Packers, 94 with the Raiders, 95 with the Jags, 95 with the Argonauts in Toronto, 96 with the Raiders, 96 with the Argonauts, 97 with the Galaxy. So he didn't have the greatest career, but you know what? The dude made it to the NFL. That's more than, 1% of the world can even say. As a coach, though, this is where it gets deep. Oakland Raiders from 98 to 99 as an offensive assistant, 2000 to 21 as the quality control coach, 2002 to 2003 as a senior offensive assistant, and 2004 he was a tight ends coach, and then he moved on to the San Diego Chargers, where in 05 he was a passing game and wide receivers coach, and then he moved on to the Saints a year later as a passing game coordinator and the offensive assistant. Then he went back down to college and headed up USC's program as a passing game coordinator and the wide receivers coach. And then he was the offensive coordinator and the wide receivers coach for 2 seasons after his first 2 seasons at USC. Then he bounced back up to the NFL, went to the San Francisco 49ers for 3 seasons as the wide receivers coach. And then he went to the Saints for 2 seasons as a wide receivers coach. Then the Jets in 2017 as the offensive coordinator. And I'm glad you brought that up this morning, saying that, he was a failed offensive coordinator. What I would say to that is, yeah, maybe the offense didn't do great, but if you kind of look at what they did do with the limited supply and weaponry, as you say, that they didn't have, they didn't have anything on that squad. I think he did a fairly decent job given the situation that he was put in. It was worse than the 2021 Detroit Lions offensive room. And then you have 2019 to 2021, he was a senior offensive assistant. And then Detroit Lions, he was here as a senior offensive assistant in 2022. Then he went to the Broncos for 2 seasons as a passing game coordinator. And then now we know where he is here in 2025 with the Detroit Lions as the OC. So you want to talk about a resume? It's all offense, right? It's all wide receivers or offensive coordinator, passing game coordinator type stuff, tight ends coach. He knows offense. This is what he does. This is not Ben Johnson, 7 years in the league, getting his first crack as an OC, coming from a tight ends coach. No, this is a guy that's done it all. He's seen it all. He's been through some of the best offenses, in 20 years ago when, the run and shoot offense. You had the West Coast offense that was so deadly for a long time, which the Lions ran for God knows how many years, and you've seen it all, right? And now we're in a little bit of a rarefied air here where I think the Lions just have their own thing. Everybody has 11 personnel, and I'd say 60% of the players are coming out of 11 personnel. But it's how you can integrate some things into your offense to just make it a little bit different nuance than some of the other teams. I think John Morton's going to be great. Next up here from today's press conference, he says preseason game. I thought this was interesting, that it's about the players, and he's going to kind of give them the plays that they want to run. It's their interview, right? And he's like, let's just give these guys some time to shine, man. Let's just give them what they want. Give them an opportunity. And then the next statement. Is there really any surprise to you, Eric, that he says that this team is built smart and tough? And the first thing that popped into my head was Ford tough. That's what popped into my head. Ford tough. Pretty good stuff, man. Anything you want to recap? We got a few more things I wrote down, but anything you want to recap up to this point?
Not really. I think that he's going to use these preseason games to filter who he wants on the back end of the roster. You got 4 of them instead of 3 of them this year. So he's going to take advantage, and people like Hendon Hooker and Lovett and, Cooper, all these guys that are on the back end of the roster right now, they're all going to get a lot of playing time, and we're going to really get to see what this offense is kind of going to look like in a vanilla fashion in the preseason.
I'm glad you used the term vanilla, because it will be a very, very dumbed down, if you will, if that's the right term to use. Vanilla. It's a vanilla scheme. There's going to be a few different sets, a few different plays that they're going to try to do a lot out of. And that's just the way it works in every preseason. You don't want to overload these guys too much. And I think that they're at a space right now because they've been together for so long that you probably can overload this offense a little bit. I think the issue is the offensive line, where we have 3 guys on the offensive line that I think can do it all. And then we have 2 to 3 rookies that we're trying to fit in that need to learn quickly. Mahogany's still a rookie, man. He only got in, 50 snaps last year. So I think that's the piece that could be holding you back just a little bit, is the fact that you've got some rookies on the offensive line. Last year, and this will come out later on today when I actually get a chance to do it, looking at some of the rookies from last year and some of the rookie offensive lines, or some of the offensive lines that had rookies, and they didn't do the greatest. So it does give me a little bit of pause, for concern. However, this is Hank Fraley, man, and this is an offensive line that is mixed in guys left and right every year, 8, 10, 12 different formations, and they've played well. But that was also with guys that were seasoned vets. So biggest statement out of today, which I think, the fact that he said we can do whatever we want, that's confidence, man. I'm not surprised at that statement. Offensive line, though, Morton thinks that the offensive line is doing a good job. He is impressed with Tate at center. Don't take this as a negative that Tate Ratledge is not getting center snaps today or yesterday or the day before. Well, yesterday they were off, but it's mix him in. You're going to overload his brain for a few days, and then you're going to put him back in his natural position, kind of let it all filter through the body, right? Kind of relax a little bit. I'm back at doing what I know how to do, and then you're going to throw him right back into the fire again. It's a good way to get these guys acclimated, which I think is a good word, acclimated to a new position, but also it's the NFL. Like it's hard enough to go to the NFL in your own position, let alone having to learn 2 as a rookie. And I think that speaks volumes to Tate Ratledge and exactly why they brought him in. Trick plays, you touched on that. They're going to do whatever they need to do. If it works, it sticks. And he loves how smart Tate is. So a good press conference from John Morton, not overly long. And I'm super impressed to see what he can do with this offense. Or I'm impressed by his demeanor. I'm excited to see what he can do with this offense. Big shout out to Darius Smith. Welcome to the Detroit Lions faithful, man. Just joined the membership group. Appreciate you. Let me get you dialed up with something while I'm doing that, Eric. What's on your mind?
Training camp was a lot of fun.
Hot.
Very hot. Very humid. Holy moly. You could cut the air with a knife. And those guys were out running around. And you just got me to thinking, Johnny Morton said that this is the 7th. That was the 7th day of install on Saturday.
No, today is. Today is.
Oh, today is.
Yeah.
So for 7 days, they've been installing new plays for all the rookies and everybody coming back. And so I wonder how many plays that is. And I got to thinking, if you go back to when they started practice and they were doing kind of like a walkthrough where they were running all these different plays and they weren't running full speed. None of it was full speed. They were kind of like half jogging, half tackling. And they probably did 20 or 30 plays that way. I wonder if that was the actual install.
Yeah, it probably was a little bit to start. I think it's more of their warm up. They do a very light walkthrough in the morning, and then they go right into stretching. I don't think it has anything to do with the fans being there. I think that's just what I've always noticed. Whenever I've been at camp, they're kind of going through that light walkthrough. They stretch, and then they start to ramp it up in positional drills, and then they come back and do more of the install at the end. But you want to talk about an install and how difficult it is. Now, this is just from me listening and hearing to what coaches have said in the past. Imagine, you're reading a chapter in a book. Let's call it, 20 pages. That's an install, but it's more than that. It's a book. Like each install is a book that you're trying to do. And there's, 20, 30 different installs that they're trying to do throughout the season. I mean, it's massive. And what used to be on paper, these guys were carrying, duffel bags full of playbooks around to be able to learn different things in the preseason. But now it's all on a Microsoft Surface. So it's obviously a lot easier for them. But an install is not easy. Like, they're throwing a ton at these guys. And like I said last week about Jared Goff, just being able to be in that offense and say, hey, it's this route. Don't worry about the 50 words that I just, word salad at you. It's this route. Just go run and post, there's a lot of words, man. I'll never understand why it's so difficult, but I guess it has to be.
If I would have been one of the people asking the interview questions today, I would have asked John Morton this. So earlier in the offseason, Jared Goff had talked about he wanted to take more control of the offense since Frank Ragnow was going to be gone. But now that it's looking like Graham Glasgow is going to be the center, is Graham going to take care of those calls that need to be made by the center up at the front of the line, since it's not going to be Tate Ratledge, and take a little bit off of Goff's plate? Even though Goff, this is basically him being in this offense for year 5 now, because the offense really isn't changing, just some verbiage. And of course, they're going to have new plays like they do every year. But for the most part, this is probably 90% the same system that he's always been running for the last 5 years.
Yeah. So what was the question in there? If
I would have asked him, how much are you putting on
Graham
Glasgow to make the calls like Frank was, or are you putting it on Jared Goff, like Goff was saying in the offseason that he was willing to take some of that responsibility at the line?
Yeah, and we kind of heard that last week too. I think there was some press conferences. There was also some audio that through the XM radio where Goff had said that same thing, that he was helping Tate, obviously getting into the right blocking assignments, helping the offensive line out. But yeah, you're exactly right. I think that when you have 3 guys on this line that have been doing it for a long time, Graham and Panay and Taylor Decker, that one of them is going to be able to get the other guy in the right position. And that's why I said from the very outset of this offseason, the minute that we took Tate Ratledge and we started thinking about what was this offensive line going to look like this year, I didn't necessarily think we were going to throw him at center right away. But when that started to come about, I'm like, okay, I think it makes way more sense now that you put Graham at right guard. And I want to say that that's what Dan Campbell, and I think it's what Dan Campbell said last week, that if Graham's going to be anywhere, it's going to be right guard. Not putting 2 rookies next to each other, I mean, that's tough to do, right? But at least you're going to have Taylor Decker on the left. He can help Mahogany on the left guard, Tate at the center, and then you've got Graham at on the right guard spot. So they're not really, you don't have 3 guys in the middle that are all new, right? You have a veteran next to them somewhere that can help them. I think it's a good, smart move. Very smart move.
So do you think day 1, game 1 at the Packers, who do you think starts at center?
Well, if they're going to give Tate the job, I think it's Decker, it's Mahogany, it's Ratledge, Glasgow, and Panay. I think that's your starting 5. Hands down. I think that's your starting 5. Now, I know there's some guys that are working their way up, and this also hinges on Taylor Decker too. Like, if he's not back yet, then I think you might have Skipper battling out with Manu, which right now I think Skipper's got the lead on that job.
Yeah.
So I think we're okay. I don't want to get too deep off into the weeds thinking that we're in a lot of trouble, but I think we're okay. I think the offensive line is going to be better than what we think it, initially after losing Frank and losing Zeitler. I think that we're going to be just fine. Does that mean we're going to be a top 5 O-line? Maybe not initially, but I think that it'll get there. And if, as long as we're growing and that, you got that trajectory, like Dan always says, going up throughout the season, you're playing your best football in January. That's the only thing that really matters. As long as we're winning enough games, win the North, get in the playoffs, and the guys are getting better week after week after week, if they're a top 5 by the time we go, to the playoffs, I think we're going to be in good shape. I'm really loving what I'm hearing about Mahogany. Really loving it. Anyway, good morning. Let's jump into the camp connection. I want to get your brain in what you saw at camp this weekend, but I want to do a quick reminder to everybody. We got about 160 people in this morning. Good morning to all of you. Thank you for joining the Rise of Grind morning show. about 63 likes. We're going to turn off ads as soon as we hit 75. I know ads can kill you. They suck. So if you get the likes up, we turn off ads every morning. So if you're new with us this morning, that's what we do. We turn off ads so you guys don't have to go through it. All right, what did you see this weekend? I know I kind of did my little spiel on Saturday night. You were exhausted. You drove 2 o'clock in the morning. You made it to camp, and then you drove all the way back up to Brimley. Long day. So,
So this guy here, let me see, over here. Yeah, over here. This guy over here.
This guy?
Yeah, he messages me on Friday night. He knew I wanted to go to camp on Saturday. I did not have a ticket. He tells me, "Hey, I got a ticket. Let's go." And I'm like, this is like at 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. I'm like, all right, I'll go. So I had to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning. I went to bed right as soon as he called me. And I got 4 hours of sleep. I get up at 2 a.m. I drive all the way down 5 hours, go to training camp, get back in my truck, drive 5 hours back, and then I slept for 12 hours. So that was quite the adventure. Just getting to go. I didn't think I was going to get to go, so I was very, very happy. I finally got to go to my first Lions Loyal members training camp practice, and it was awesome. Got to go to the very first practice, the second practice in pads, and there were a few things that I thought about. And some things were like, what players stood out, and do I need to update my season win total after seeing the 2025 squad in practice? And I just might. I had predicted earlier this offseason that the Lions were going to go 13-4. I might have to add a game or two. This defense looked incredible. Some of these receivers looked unbelievable. The quarterbacks were all slinging the ball, looking really good. But there were some interceptions. There was some tight coverage. It made me very, very happy to see that neither the offense nor the defense was way ahead of either. So it wasn't like it was the offense just scoring a touchdown in every single play, because I've been to training camps where that happens. And then I've been to training camps where the defense just shut everything down. You couldn't run the ball. You couldn't throw the ball. It was interception after interception. So it was really nice to see. It was kind of an even 50-50 back and forth. But what players stood out? Quarterbacks. Jared Goff. The first pass I watch him make, an interception to Terrion Arnold. He threw it just a little bit short, and it got picked off.
Well, I know someone corrected me over the weekend because we couldn't see on the other side of the sideline, but I guess Terrion was just out of bounds. So a technicality would be, okay, it wouldn't have been a completed interception.
Yeah.
But let's just take the throw, on its face value here. It was a bad throw by Jared Goff. The last bad throw we saw of the game or the day by him. And it would have been an interception, had he been in bounds. So semantics of the day. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, tomato. He had a bad throw. The rest of the practice, he was spot on. He was great. I only saw 1 or 2 throws that just didn't hit the mark, but the wide receiver just wasn't open. Okay. Hendon Hooker next. Man, can that kid, when he is on, he is on. He had one play where he ran to the right. He escaped the pocket because the pocket collapsed. He's running to his right. He's a right-handed quarterback. And he slings that ball sidearm like Matt Stafford into Dominic Lovett. And how that kid caught that ball, I still do not know. It was some of the tightest coverage you've ever seen. And that was for like a 8-9 yard reception. And then Kyle Allen, that guy throws a really beautiful ball. And that's what I put in my notes, that he throws a really tight, nice spiral. And he puts the ball, for the most part, where it needs to go. And you can tell he is a seasoned veteran. And he is going to push Hendon Hooker to the max for that backup quarterback position. Right now, I think Hendon's slightly ahead of him. But, man, they are neck and neck. Kyle Allen is a lot better of a quarterback than I thought. What did you think about the quarterbacks?
Yeah, so same thing. I mean, Jared Goff, I think he was 5 of 6 on the day. And to your point, maybe not the best of throw to start the day. couple of plays where maybe the receiver wasn't open. They still got the ball, though, still fighting for it. Jared put it where they could catch it at least. But Hendon, yeah, I was surprised. We heard the narratives up until Saturday that Hendon Hooker was looking bad and that he was getting third-team reps. Well, newsflash, like I said on Saturday, every quarterback not named Jared Goff is going to get third-team reps. That's how it works. You have 3 quarterbacks in camp. One's going to get second-team reps one day. The next day, the next guy could get second-team reps. And that's how it is in camp. So the dribble and drab that gets pushed out about Hendon Hooker, that he's getting third-team reps, now looking good, it's a false narrative. Hendon Hooker's looking great. And maybe we kind of fell for it last week and kind of believed in the fact that, okay, is Hendon Hooker going to, put it together this year? This is, it's kind of like it's time to shit or get off the pot, right? It's your third year. You've gone through an injury season, kind of like with J-Mo, right? In his third year, it was get it going. Like this, it's the training wheels are off. So the same thing for Hooker this year, but to your point, man, good, clean, crisp footballs. I saw some corner shots, some corner fades. You couldn't have put it in a better spot. Catching the ball in the end zone with your hands out and over the out of bounds line, right? You couldn't put it in a better spot. No DB can get it. Beautiful balls by both Kyle Allen and Hooker, but Hooker had a few of those. He made Dominic Lovett look like he is a seasoned vet. Dominic Lovett is, I'm sorry, you heard Amon-Ra say it, and this is on the list to talk about today. Is he really the next Amon-Ra St. Brown? And what I mean by that, did Brad Holmes work his magic again in this draft to find a late round guy that may have been forgotten about by other teams, but he could actually be somebody that could turn out to be a really good receiver in the NFL? I'm not saying he's going to be a number one like Amon-Ra St. Brown in 2.5 seasons, but who knows? We don't. From what we've seen so far, he looks great. Anyway, keep going. I thought the quarterbacks looked good. And to your point on Kyle Allen, dude's a vet, man. He's got a ton of experience, and he definitely has a decent arm on him. So I think we're good in the quarterback room department.
Yeah. And I'm going to skip the running backs for now, and I'm going to go to wide receivers. So who stood out to me? J-Mo, number 1. He was out there on special teams. He was all over the field. He, to me, looks like a different player. You said he doesn't look any thicker. I looked at film from him from last year and then this year. Dude has put on some muscle. His calves don't even look the same. Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's normal Amon-Ra St. Brown, catching everything. I think he dropped 1 ball. And then Khalif Raymond, he was looking pretty good. He had some good reps in there. But then we're going to get to these other guys. And they kind of stole the show because, of course, they're getting more reps. They're not on the first team. Isaac Tesla, Dominic Lovett, and Jackson Meeks. Meeks stole the show with that one-handed grab streaming down the sideline. And I'm telling you, it was a play that's right up there with some of the best catches I've ever seen on a football field. One-handed grab with a guy draped all over him, and how he caught that ball, I still do not know. And then watching Tesla be double covered in the end zone and still come down with the ball. That was an incredible play. And then Dominic Lovett just catching everything that came his way. 19 was everywhere. Catch after catch after catch after catch. It was amazing to see. So I have no worries whatsoever about our wide receivers. And then on multiple plays, number 0, Jahmyr Gibbs lined out wide between St. Brown and J-Mo on the left side with Monty in the backfield. And what do? They run the play twice, same play, and both times David Montgomery gets the pass thrown his way while the other 3 are wide receivers, Oda's wide receivers, and they're just decoys. And I guarantee you are going to see that play in the regular season.
Yeah, a lot of two-back plays this weekend, which is something that we've both been kind of waiting for 3 seasons now. We were promised in season 1 that Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be outfitted in this offense as a receiver, and it just hasn't happened. I mean, not as much screen game as we would have liked. Last year we saw a little bit in the screen game, and when it works great. And then for whatever reason, Ben Johnson goes a different direction. Let me recap what you were just saying too on some of my thoughts. The Jackson Meeks, like he started, I mean, I know it was a little bit later in practice, but he kind of like started the show with that catch. Mm-hmm. And it was Dominic Lovett, who was, in my opinion, the best receiver of the day. I counted 5 touchdowns. I don't know the final count, but it was 5 that I caught. Or I'm sorry, that he caught that I saw. And
he just would not go down.
No. I mean, I think he's what, 6'1"?
It's not the biggest,
but he plays big, and he's got a really long frame. I bet you his ape index is really good because he was catching everything that was thrown near him. I mean, outstretched arms on every play, like the corner shots. The hand-eye coordination to be able to catch those balls when they're coming over top of your right shoulder, that is one of the hardest catches to reel in the NFL. That right shoulder going out of bounds is one of the toughest catches that you ask any receiver that they'll ever have to make. The next one, obviously, is the left shoulder going the other way. So he had really good hand-eye coordination, and I think that's going to bode well for him if he gets some shots at teams, which I think we heard over the weekend that they're going to try to put him back there. I didn't see him catching any punts or kickoffs, but if he takes off in special teams, and if he gets a shot to return some kicks, and he does well, I'm telling you right now, he's going to push Khalif Raymond. I can't imagine not having Khalif Raymond on the team this year because he's an all-pro punt returner, but he's going to push him at some point, whether it's this year or next year. I said it early this year that the Lions are going to keep 6 receivers. I'm still sticking with that. Isaac Tesla, man. Okay, so you had 2 guys. You had a safety in a corner, safety just trailing. I know he was like a yard or 2 behind, but it was 2-man coverage on him. Tesla, that catch. So like imagine like this is the corner, and this is the corner shoulder. That catch was underneath behind the corner where he saw the ball come in and caught that ball with his hands pointed the other direction. Very tough catch. For him to pull that in and go to the ground and come up with a TD, again, hand-eye coordination, that's what he's known for. He does not drop footballs, so very good concentration by both the guys, man. I look, Dominic Lovett's on this team right now. He was the early call for me, and I'm sticking with him, man. And Isaac Tesla, if he is half as good as they've said he is, and after what we witnessed on Saturday, he didn't get a ton of action, but when he did, he caught it. Man, he's going to be special to watch over the next couple of years. I think that Brad Holmes did the right move here by moving up to get him. So for all the haters out there that think that Brad made a huge mistake, he didn't. He absolutely didn't. Now he's got to stay on the field, right? He's been battling a little bit of an injury this year to get started, but he'll be okay if he's healthy. All right, what was next for you?
Yeah, he was out there with a knee brace on, and I've been reading comparisons that he may be the next Puka Nacua. And if that is correct, oh man, we hit it out of the park with that 3rd-round pick.
That's an interesting comparison.
Somebody's trying to call you.
No, I turned him off.
So the offensive linemen are next. So I only paid attention to really 3 of them, and that was Ratledge, Mahogany, and Graham Glasgow. Those were the 3. I kind of watched the inside of the line on a few plays. I didn't get to watch them on every play, but for me, they held up just fine. I thought that combo of Mahogany on the left, Graham Glasgow at center, Tate Ratledge at right guard. I didn't see anybody blowing up the middle of the field getting sacks. So I thought they did just fine on the plays that I was watching. Defensive linemen, there was some really neat stuff going on. So Hutch, he looked like Hutch again. Davenport looked like Davenport again.
Hold on. You didn't give Hutch enough there. Hutch looked amazing.
Yes.
Dude's a freak.
Yep.
So you guys have heard me in the past be a little critical of Hutch, and I'm going to the reason why I'm prefacing that is because now I expect what I witnessed this year, the way that he has hustled to get himself back, how hard he has worked. And like he said yesterday, or maybe it was Saturday, 9 months of training. Yeah, he better be good, is what he's saying about himself. I better be good after 9 months of straight training. When's the last time a player's gone 9 months of straight training before they enter the NFL? It doesn't happen. Yep. So he might break the mold where you see guys come back from a major injury that kind of have a down year, that throwaway year that I call it. He may be the exact opposite. He might shoot straight to the moon this year. Hutch looks great.
Yeah. Hutch, he looked fantastic. I thought Davenport looked better than ever.
He did. He looks quicker.
I thought DJ Reader looked better than I've ever seen. So 3 out of our 4 defensive linemen that we've had in past years look like this is going to be their year. Then you add in rookie Tyleek Williams, who also looked fantastic. And then we only saw a few plays from him, but when he was in, he did what he was supposed to do, and that's Ahmed Hassanin. He looked very good on the few plays that we got to see him. He was mostly with the third team, and we did not get to see too much of him the other day. Maybe 6 or 8 plays.
So I don't know if you could hear it, and I don't even know if I said this to you, but we were walking back up to the stands to kind of, I think we walked out and then walked back. Somewhere we were walking, but Hassanin grabbed my attention because I heard this, like, I don't know how you want to say it. It's almost like it's like a war call. I don't know if that's the right term, but a war cry is what it sounded like to me. It's like this weird yell that he has before the play. And I'm like, what? That was Hassanin? Like, you could clearly tell it was him. At least I think it was him. And if that's what he's doing before each play, there's no wonder why this guy's an absolute animal on the field. Yeah, he looks fast. He couldn't get away. He was kind of locked in with the right tackle there on one play, and he had a hard time breaking away. I thought there was a hold, but it did extend the play to the sideline. So the play did get pushed to the sideline, which is exactly what he's supposed to do. But a stretch run play to the outside is really not the defensive end's job anyway. If he can make the play, great. That's usually for your box safety to come up and make that play there. But Hassanin was able to at least kind of push the play to the outside. I liked what I saw so far, but to your point, we didn't see enough. We didn't see enough of Ahmed. He's, from what I could gather, he is at least the 4th defensive end right now. He could be teetering 4th or 5th. I think that'll get better as time goes on.
Yeah, I think he's going to get a lot of run in the preseason games, so he might be very fun to watch. Maybe he'll get some sacks against these other practice squad players. And next up, the DBs. So what was my biggest takeaway from the DBs the other day? There was no Kirby. Kirby was not there. So I don't know if it had to do with his slight injury that he had the practice before, at the end of practice. Apparently he had some kind of injury, or if he just had a personal day, because Dan Campbell said something in his press conference on Saturday morning about someone having a personal day, and I could not hear who he was talking about. And I listened to the interview like 4 or 5 times, and I still could not catch it. But the DBs, Maddox filled in for Kirby Joseph. I thought he did just a fine job. Branch was all over the place, and Terry and Arnold got himself a pick, and he was all over the place, Terry and Arnold. So it was nice to see that in year 2, I think he's going to have a big, giant leap this year. I think
I'm right there with you. So let's kind of give everyone an idea here of what we really saw. Okay, so that's the Cliff Notes version. Like, we could probably talk for 3 hours of what we really saw. But here's the nitty gritty. Last year at this time, when I went to the opening practice, I came back and I said, what? What I say, Eric? Last season?
Our defense was looking fantastic.
It was the best defense that I have ever seen in Detroit outside of 2014, and I compared it to 2014. This year, I'm going up a step.
Mm-hmm.
This is the best defense I've seen since last year. And I get it. We had a ton of injuries, so we don't really know what the full look of the defense was going to be throughout the season. But I am telling you right now, based on the depth on this team and the fact that we were able to hang in there through 17 games and win 15 of them on the backs of our 3rd string and 4th string and all the way down to our 7th string guys we're picking up off the street, that was a really good defense last year. If Aiden was healthy, if Davenport was healthy, we're talking Super Bowl just with those two players back on this team. Of course, I would have loved to have seen Carlton Davis stay healthy as well. But run game, the two most talented running backs in the league in Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery could not get anywhere this weekend. They could not take the ball forward down the field for more than 3-4 yards. And they were doing a lot of short down and distance type of stuff on Saturday. It seemed like that they were practicing 90% run to kind of start the practice there in 11-on-11s. It's pretty impressive that Aleem is out. Tyleek Williams looks good, right? Stewart is a madman. That linebacker that we picked up from the Colts is way better than what I thought he was. That dude, I mean, he was getting a lot of linebacker blitz action early in practice, but it was the run defense that has not changed. It is as good, if not better, than last year. So that was my big takeaway, is watching this defense be very sticky in the pass game. Yeah, they threw some touchdowns. They got some passes off. It's expected in 7-on-7s. Okay, now go to 11-on-11s. It was very few and far between that any sort of plays were happening for the offense. Yep, they would pick up a short pass. They had a couple of decent runs, but you're talking third string. First string, they canceled each other out. That defense was putting it to them. So I'm super excited. This is a top 5 defense this year. Again, everyone stays healthy, we might have the best defense in the league.
Yeah. Talking about Stewart, the one play I did not like from him was when he stuck it to Amon-Ra St. Brown and put him on the ground. It was a little bit too hard of a hit for what they were doing right there. Because I don't think they were supposed to be full-on tackling. That was during like the walkthrough part. And,
yeah, he kind of forgot what he was supposed to do that day, huh?
Yeah, and he laid him right out.
I think that they need to put red jerseys on their star players. I want to wind back to a comment here,
Sure.
or I want to wind back and kind of make a comment on J-Mo. I know you think he looks bigger or is in better shape. He may be. I don't see that, partly because he always wears baggy pants. But I did notice something about J-Mo. And this is exactly what we've been hoping to see. He has developed himself into a leader. He's starting to lead. Tesla makes that big play at the end of the practice. The first person running down the field is J-Mo, right? To go slap the dude 5s. And he was all over the field, talking it up to guys, right? Getting in their face in a good way, teaching some of the, taking guys under his wing now that he's into the league now. What is it, 4 seasons? J-Mo is matured, and he's turning into the leader that we were hoping that he would become. And he's really putting in an effort to do it this year. You can see it. So my hat's off. We got to give our new member a big shout out this morning. And I need to figure out where it was. I can't wind back the chat far enough. And I don't have my...
While you're trying to figure that out.
Oh, here we go. I'm sorry. Darius Smith.
There you go.
Welcome to the Lions faithful. I don't want to forget to make this happen for you. So here we go.
Intercepted. Kirby Joseph coming back to the 40. Kirby to the 45. Kirby to the 50. Kirby into San Francisco territory and taken down at the 42-yard line.
Like Chit likes to say, which I don't have it dialed up today, but welcome to the Lions Den, man. Welcome to the Lions faithful. So thank you so much for being part of the membership. Go ahead. You were going to say something.
So I made a little proclamation about Jameson Williams this year. And some people have skewered me for it. And some people are like, okay, what drugs are you taking? But I said this. I think that J-Mo may push St. Brown for the number 1 spot as the number 1 receiver. We may have a 1A, 1B kind of situation going on. I think that J-Mo may have more touchdowns and more yards than Amon-Ra St. Brown this year with less receptions.
I mean, I think it's kind of the same thing that he said last year, that he doesn't care about how many receptions he gets because he can take it to the house, on any given play. He's one play away from the end zone. So Look, I could see it happening. I could see him having more yards and more TDs, but I will definitively say this. There is no one more important to this team than Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Oh, exactly. Yes.
You know, and I know what you're saying. You're not trying to replace Amon-Ra with J-Mo. It's just he might have more yards. It'll be interesting to see, man, because we have a problem in the wide receiver room, and it's a good problem. We have too many weapons. Yeah, I'll reserve myself on stats right at the moment. I want to get through a couple more practices. Tomorrow's my birthday, so I'll be back out there tomorrow. I always celebrate my birthday with the Lions at camp if it falls on my birthday, which it does usually.
Is it a morning practice or an afternoon or?
Tomorrow I think is a morning practice.
Okay.
Pretty positive it is. All right, let's dig into our 3 headlines of the day, or a couple headlines of the day. But first, Eric, tell us all about YOOPERLITES.
Yeah, YOOPERLITES is your one-stop shop for everything rockhounding, whether it's Lake Superior agates, Petoskey stones, YOOPERLITES, or anything UV. Go to YOOPERLITES.com. Check it out. We have all the best stuff for all your rockhounding needs, no matter where you go on the Great Lakes.
Love it, man. It's a fun little pastime, little hobby to pick up. Okay, so just a few headlines of the day. A wise man once said that you've got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, and you know when to run, right? Know when to walk away. I want to take a look at this article that I caught last night, just kind of recapping who the holdouts are currently. And there's quite a few. So if this hasn't changed in the last few hours, obviously we have Micah Parsons, who's still holding in, and there was some comments made by the Cowboys ownership that I'm going to highlight, but Jerry Jones may be onto something here, and I'll tell you what it is in just a moment. It has to do with the Lions. Trey Hendrickson, definitely a holdout. Terry McLaurin, so I've got a little note on him, but he's holding in, but then he kind of ended it to a kinda. Not really. He still doesn't have a new deal. It's kind of like an Anzalone issue. James Cook, he's practicing. Elgton Jenkins, possibly holding in, and I think Eric's got something for us on that today. Juwan Jennings is practicing. Cortland Sutton is practicing. So some minor changes over the weekend. But I want to get into, what happened last year a little bit. So last season, the Lions were blindsided by a rookie quarterback. And this year, the Commanders do return with another war chest of weaponry. Deebo Samuel, Brian Robinson, and of course, that former rookie turned, top 7 quarterback in 2025, Jaden Daniels. And now Terry McLaurin's holdout is over, kinda. But he's starting on PUP, but make no mistake about it, man. He's gunning for Week 15. The Detroit Lions defense better be ready, or we're going to risk deja vu all over again once we play the Commanders. So this isn't necessarily a mystery, right? We know that Terry McLaurin is a damn good receiver. He's starting with an ankle injury on PUP. His holdout, like I said, is somewhat over without a new deal, but he's back, and we better be ready. So that's kind of your just two quick headlines of the day. NFC North report is next. Now, I didn't see. Oh, you do have them updated here.
Yep, got them
okay.
all fixed.
Yes, let's start with the Packers on the NFC North report.
All right. Uh-oh. The Packers have a kicker issue again this year. So a visa issue is forcing the Packers star to miss training camp as Matt LaFleur provides an update. From Ireland to the scouting combine, Mark McNamee's rise has been fast and unexpected. As it turned out, football wasn't the final chapter for him. The former goalkeeper from Dublin is now gearing up for more pressure kicks as he signed with the Green Bay Packers. And his story doesn't follow the usual NFL script, kind of like Amin Hassanin. No College Bowl games, no draft hype, but that's what makes it worth watching. So now he has a problem. Let's see. Where's Matt LaFleur's little thing here? Irish kicker Mark McNamee isn't with the team yet, according to Matt LaFleur, working through a visa issue, and they do not know when he will be available for training camp. So this puts a little kink in the works for them, because if you remember last year, they went through a couple of kickers, and the year before they went through a couple kickers. And for the last 3 or 4 seasons, they just have not had a reliable kicking game in Green Bay. So this is one of those issues where I don't want to be political or anything, but he can't get his visa. He can't come to play.
So, but my question is this. Did you not vet his visa ability?
You would think so.
I mean, they go through such lengthy background checks on everybody, and you would think that this would have popped up somewhere through Homeland Security that, you know, something's wrong with it. This guy can't get a visa. We don't know what the issue is. It just says that he's having a visa issue.
Yep.
Thank goodness we don't have those types of deals, you know, or those types of issues in Detroit. I can't say that I'm upset over it. I mean,
it seems like it's kind of some bad luck for the Packers. They just, remember how we went through so many kickers, you know.
It was silly, man. We went through like 7 kickers in 2 years.
Yeah, even like Matt Derry had his list. It was his kicker list. He's thrown it away now, but he always talked about all the different kickers that the Lions have went through. You know, this week we're trying out 6 kickers, and we went through a massive amount of kickers to start, you know, Brad Holmes's tenure in Detroit. Until we got Jake Bates, things they've turned around now. But one thing we forgot to talk about was that Jake Bates went 6 for 6 in training camp and hit a 63-yarder.
63
uprights
in the heat.
Yes, and it would have been good from 10 more yards out. All right, and then the Bears. Do the Bears have a problem at left tackle? So let's get into this. The Chicago Bears saw their first twist in the left tackle competition on Saturday. Plenty of roster battles are going on for the Chicago Bears as training camp continues. However, none can hold a candle to the importance of what's happening at left tackle. It's the second most important position on the entire offense. It will likely determine the ceiling for what the Bears' offensive line can be this season. Even crazier is that it isn't your typical 2-man race. This is a 3-headed battle between what head coach Ben Johnson deemed equal competitors: incumbent Braxton Jones, former 3rd-round pick from last year, Kyron Amegaji, and rookie 2nd-round pick Ozzie Trapilo. Well, on the Bears, practice number 4 just wrapped up, and Kyron Amegaji was with the first team at left tackle before he left practice early with an injury. And then their center, Doug Kramer, that was with the second line, injured what looked to be his left foot. So just like the Detroit Lions, these guys, the Bears, they're getting dinged up in training camp. So they don't know who's going to be their left tackle right now. And the guy that was leading the pack, their second-year player, their third rounder from last year, went out with injury. So the Bears, that could hinder Caleb Williams a lot. And we've been hearing nothing but bad things so far coming out of Bears training camp.
Up until the other day.
Yeah.
So now it sounds like as with Saturday, I believe, that they had a much better day for the first team offense.
Yeah.
It ended in a 2-minute drill, end of half scenario with a goal line fade to Roma Dunze from Caleb Williams. So, and what you said is, this Curran Amegaji, I don't even know how to pronounce that dude's last name, was the first, with the ones at left tackle before leaving practice early with something.
Yeah, they didn't say exactly what it was.
I'll get it right here. He left, it was just as an injury. Doug Kramer, the center with the 2s, he also suffered an injury, what looked like to be his left foot. and then Theo Benedict in place of Darnell Wright for a rest day. So Darnell Wright had a rest day at right tackle for the Bears. So, I mean, interesting that, I mean, everyone's going to have injuries, but this holdout, it was Elgin Jenkins, right? Was that the issue that you're talking about?
Yep. So he's doing a hold in of sorts. They transferred him from left guard to center, and he wants to be paid like a center.
Oh, hold on a second here. Hold on. I need to look something up real quick just to make sure that I got my facts straight.
Yep.
Did the Bears not bring in Drew Dahlman? Pretty positive they did. He should be their starting center. So what is Jenkins talking about here?
No, that's on the Packers. Jenkins is the center for the Packers. The Packers lost their center in free agency. You got the two.
I'm sorry. Are you talking about the Bears or the Packers?
You were asking me about Elgin Jenkins, and he's on the Packers.
Okay, I thought that's who you were just talking about, but I thought you were talking about the Bears.
Yeah.
Okay. Never mind.
All right. And my last, to wrap up the
that's what I get for writing an email.
So the last topic of the day is the Minnesota Vikings. Now, a Minnesota Vikings posed this question: is J.J. McCarthy already ahead of Caleb Williams? Because J.J. McCarthy has been lighting it up at training camp through the same amount of practices as Caleb Williams, and Caleb Williams has been struggling. So they posed the question: is J.J. McCarthy ahead of Caleb Williams?
Have you seen the Vikings defense?
Yeah, it's pretty darn good.
No.
What?
Their DBs have been terrible so far.
Oh, really?
In camp. And so I've seen a few of these videos of J.J. McCarthy throwing some deep balls for touchdowns, and you've got 3 DBs. They're literally playing in what looks like almost a quarters. So you've got like 3 DBs in the back, all in a line, and they just let a receiver run right past them. And then J.J. just lobs it into the end zone, and they're all jumping up and down that J.J. is the next the next Tom Brady. And it's like, hold on a second. Did you look at the defense? Like, you just let a receiver run right past you. So I would expect an NFL quarterback to be able to do that on every team. And I don't care what string you are. I don't care who you are. I don't care what quarterback you are. I don't care if it's Tim Tebow or Tim Boyle. They should be able to hit that throw.
Yeah. Well, one thing this writer was talking about was more of the mental aspect. And they were talking about how JJ is there early every day. He puts in hours and hours of work. And the Bears and some of their players and coaches are just begging Caleb Williams to take 40 minutes a day, an hour a day, to put himself into the playbook and to get there early and to do more. They're begging and pleading with him. You have all the talent in the world. You can put it together. All you have to do is, when you get home, the first thing you need to do is get your face into that playbook, where they don't have to do that with J.J. McCarthy. J.J. McCarthy is doing it on his own with no pressure from anyone.
That's the one thing that I love about J.J. McCarthy's ability is that, he's a bookworm.
Yeah. So that's basically what this whole thing was. Is J.J. McCarthy ahead of Caleb Williams just because of what's between his ears?
Well, if you don't have to be taught how to study film, I think you're ahead of the curve already. I couldn't believe that came out of Caleb Williams' mouth, and nobody taught me how to watch film. What do you mean? You've been playing football for how many seasons, and you were playing it? You're telling me USC, no one taught you how to watch film? You press play.
Yeah, you were the number 1 overall pick.
You watch film, you study it, you make notes, right? It's obviously a little bit deeper than that, but you kind of figure out what the defensive scheme is and how you're going to pick it apart, call it out. I mean, if you were to do that for the Lions in an interview, the interviews they do at the combine, they bring the guys up in the box, They put a play on the screen and they say, all right, based on what you just watched, what was the call? And I mean, you got to have it, right? I saw this. And it's like now. If you don't know it, you're not going to be a Detroit Lion. I wonder what they did with Caleb Williams. Did they put any film on the tube there and say, what was that play? What would you do in that situation? Or here's the play, call it back to me. That's all memory stuff that they have these guys do.
Did the Lions even do an interview with him at the combine?
No, I don't think so. But what I'm saying is, like, they did it with like Jack Campbell or Jahmyr Gibbs or Hendon Hooker. I mean, they do it with all of them. Is they bring him in, they show him some plays, they have them kind of, reverberate what was shown to them and what they would do or what their assignment was, and if there was a blown coverage or something, what happened on the play. You're trying to see if they're smart, right? They don't do this stupid Wonderlic test anymore, but they're trying to bring the guys through some situations to make sure that they know football. First, you got to love football. Second, you got to know football, and they can work with the rest. But if you're not smart enough, right, and if you don't love football, well, that's kind of 2/3 of the equation. The rest of it is body. Putting your body, your conditioning in the right place. So the Lions stuff. Did you do anything on the Lions? I got a couple on the Lions here.
So we released somebody yesterday. The Lions have moved on from one of their defensive backs. Detroit announced on Sunday that the club has released Stanley Thomas Oliver. Thomas Oliver, 27, joined the Detroit Lions late last season on the practice squad. He then signed a futures deal to remain with the club after Detroit's playoff loss. A Panthers 7th-round pick in 2020, Thomas Oliver has appeared in 26 career games, mostly playing on special teams. He recorded 17 career tackles, and he did come back on Saturday, and he was the player that went down early with some kind of injury, and I think they let him go with an injury settlement, if what I saw was correct.
Yeah, I did read where they might come to an injury settlement. I didn't realize it. He was already out of practice because he was injured.
Mm-hmm.
And then you come in, he plays a few plays. He was in the backfield. Devontae Maddox obviously got a ton of snaps. So Javonte Maddox looks good, man. I'm glad that we got him. So yeah, I mean, hey, if you can't produce, if you're injured and then you come back and then you're injured again and you're just not producing, obviously the Lions don't have time this year. In the past, they may have given you a little bit of a longer look, but you're talking about a roster where they're going to have to cut 30 guys that could probably start on another team. Yeah. It's that deep of a roster.
And to me, you if you're a player that was just injured, you come back for one practice, you're injured again, see ya. We're going to get somebody else in here. We need other people at the back end of this roster to fill in during training camp. We need those players to fill in that role. So I wonder who they're going to bring in today.
Be interesting to see. But up next, I want to go to... this is going to look terrible because of the way I got it set up, but Detroit Lions video from the weekend was kind of funny. Mario Kart, man. They're picking their favorite characters from Mario Kart. Let's see what these guys had to say.
Mario Kart character.
Give me Luigi. Easy.
Peaches.
The best Mario Kart player on the team. Definitely in the league. I play with Peach because she's the GOAT.
I like Yoshi.
Wario. Nah. Wario.
Princess. She had the fastest car.
I mean, Baby Mario is that's a given. Anybody who says Bowser probably never won a game before.
I'm a Bowser guy. I'm pretty sure everybody's a Bowser guy. That's because we all grew up winners.
Toad. Original, Yoshi. Anything after that, Baby Mario.
I like the little Toad, the one that you get like little golden thing, and little Toads plus 200, whatever.
Wario all day.
Gotta go with Yoshi.
Bowser. Yoshi.
The Hulk.
I gotta go Donkey Kong, man.
Donkey Kong.
Come on now.
Luigi.
Yoshi.
Bowser. Bowser Jr.
Baby Mario.
Koopa Troopa. Dry Bowser. Shy Guy too.
I don't know if you're on Mario Kart.
You know, Cooper Trooper. Baby.
Only one right answer. That's Yoshi. Easily.
Metal, Baby Peach, Elite.
Come on, man. Bowser. No, it's Donkey Kong. I'm a grill out hard, you know what I'm saying? Donkey Kong. I'm gonna go Mario because he's my favorite, you know.
Ah, Luigi.
Waluigi. Bowser. Bowser.
Yeah, I don't know what they're called, but it was those spiky, like, lava guys in the first one.
Bowser. That's mine.
If anybody said anything other than Yoshi or Toad, they can't play this game.
Oh.
And then the coldest thing that you do is you hold the little Z trigger, and Yoshi is by far the fastest. Yoshi and Toad are the fastest. Yes, it is. Yeah, when I'm way in front of you, you can strategize like, whoa, I'm going. You hold the Z button. You know how people get the thing and they shoot it real fast? You hold the Z button, it'll sit behind you, and then you let it go when you're supposed to.
Yeah, Luigi.
Favorite Mario Kart.
So I'm curious, man, who was your favorite Mario Kart character? I haven't played this since Nintendo 64 back in the mid 1990s. So I would say I was probably always a Luigi guy or a Yoshi guy or a Mario even, but after listening to what they said and the answers they gave, I didn't realize some of the characters were faster than others. I thought they were all the same.
Yeah.
No wonder why I lost all the time.
Yeah, they all had different features, but I was always like a probably Wario guy. Yeah.
Wario?
Yeah.
Wasn't he the mean guy with the beard or the crown or something? I don't remember.
He had like the yellow suit on. Yeah.
Man, I love when the PR team does stuff like this. It's kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So up next, man, let's get into Lions news of the day. So it's already 9:30. We're going to be switching things up, by the way. So now that we're in season, we're going to try to, when there's not a presser anyway, we're going to try to hit the morning with the Lions news. And it'll mostly be Lions news most of the day, and then kind of round out the day with the NFL news, unless there's breaking news or breaking headlines. But it's kind of Lions all year, man. But now that we're in the season, there's a lot more to cover. There's a lot more to talk about. So here's an interesting here's an interesting idea for you. So my first topic of the day with your Detroit Lions is kind of a problem, honestly. A problem that the Lions are facing. One that we've been talking about for a while now. We haven't been shy about saying we're going to lose some guys next year. You know, if this happens, then this, of course, could be the result. Meaning, how are we going to sign all of our 2022 guys and keep everybody together? And we keep hearing the same, you know, drum pounding, heart, you know, pounding type of a reaction from fans that they need to go out and sign an edge rusher. They need to go out and sign, you know, Trey Hendrickson or whatever. And look, if we do that, we're not going to be able to keep some guys. It's that simple. So my question now, along that line, is a 4th round pick was just given a 4-year, $53 million deal, making him the 7th highest paid tight end. So the question is, how much is Sam Laporta going to get paid? If a 4th round pick, a previous 4th round pick, was just paid $53 million over 4 years. So you're talking, what is that? Is that about 14 mil a year? 13 mil a year?
Mm-hmm.
13 and a quarter. And we're talking about Jake Ferguson from the Cowboys. Now, they said, screw Micah Parsons. We're going to pay the tight end first. How does that even work? What were you thinking there? And I've got some information kind of I missed that we didn't talk about on Micah Parsons, but we'll kind of catch it at the end. Jake Ferguson, correct me if I'm wrong, he's not sniffing top 10 stats, right? He was a 4th round selection in 2022. So that kind of gives you the timeline of, you know, when guys are getting paid. He was a part-time starter as a rookie and has been Dallas's #1 tight end in the last 2 seasons. He emerged as one of Dak Prescott's favorite targets in 2023. He had 71 catches for 761 yards and 5 touchdowns in 2023. Now, last season, his production dropped off 59 catches for 494. And this dude just got 13.25 million a year. How does that make sense? But even more so, that makes me a bit worried about Sam Laporta. If a guy that's not any, I mean, let me just pull up the tight end stats for the NFL here.
Well, listen, Jake Ferguson in 2024, like you said, 59 receptions for 494 yards, 4 fumbles. Sam Laporta didn't have 4 fumbles last year. Sam Laporta had double that in yardage. Sam Laporta had plenty of touchdowns. I don't even see where he had 0 touchdowns last year.
Well,
0.
hold on. So Jake Ferguson, here's his stats from Fantasy Pros. 59 receptions, 86 targets, 494 yards, 8.4 in average per catch. He had a long of 27. He had 6 catches over 20 plus. And then he had, that's a little small. I'm not sure what that stat line is.
Probably 0 touchdowns and 4 fumbles.
Oh, there's definitely no touchdowns. He was look at this. He was rostered 69.3% of the games. What the hell is Jerry Jones doing? Someone needs to take this team over from this guy. You don't pay a tight end $13.25 million that's rostered 70% of the time is not scoring TDs. So this just drove the tight end dollars way up. And so he was a 34th ranked tight end. So he's not even a starter, according to Fantasy Pros. You look at Sam Laporta, who had a down year comparatively to his rookie year, right? But he had a down year battling some injury through the first 6-7 weeks of the season. And he still ended up with 60 catches on 83 receptions. So, I mean, just about the same amount of targets compared to Ferguson, right? 84 versus 83. 60 catches versus 59. 726 yards. 7 TDs. And 11 catches over 20 plus. And I don't think any fumbles lost at all last year. And I know that Fergie had 2 fumbles lost. That's insanity to me.
Yep.
This guy just got 13.25 million.
Well, that tells you that Sam Laporta, he doubled him in every stat, right?
Just about, yeah.
He's doubled him. So is he worth double the money? Is he $26 million a year guy?
No, but okay, so
that would be my question. What's Sam Laporta worth?
Well, that's where I'm going with this. That is the question. That's the whole question of this segment, because the highest paid tight end right now is George Kittle at 19.1. So I can tell you, I can guarantee all this. The floor for Sam Laporta is 13.25 now. That's the floor. And I don't think he's anywhere near the floor.
The floor might be 19.5.
The minimum I think that you're going to have to pay Sam Laporta as a top 6 tight end in the league last year and the previous season, I think he was number 1 or number 2. I don't remember now. Number 3 maybe. Somewhere up there. Top 5 for sure. But you're going to have to pay him top 10 money. And top 10, before this contract was signed, even getting down to Cole Kmet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, who was at top 7 was $12.5 million. David Njoku, who was number 6, was $13.68 million. Mark Andrews, $14 million. TJ Hawkinson, who hasn't really done squat, I mean, signed that big deal, $16.5 million. Kelsey, 17. Trey McBride, and so that's the number, right? Trey McBride. So Trey McBride was drafted just before Sam Laporta, a year or 2 previous, might have been 2 years previous. He's 26 years old and he's making $19 million a year right now. So I'm just going to throw it out there. Sam Laporta is going to get $19.5 million. I think that's the number you just said too. I think that's the floor for Sam Laporta.
I think Hawkinson is the floor money. That's 16.5. I would say Hawkinson money is the absolute floor for him.
So Jerry Jones, man, I just don't understand what he's doing here, but I know we said we are going to go into Lions news. I just want to throw this one more thing in there about Dallas.
He made a crazy statement yesterday.
Yeah, so let me see if I can bring this video in real quick. But Jerry Jones, man, he was getting heckled by the crowd. And it was all over this Micah Parsons mess. And I know this may be a shock, but a couple of days ago, Jerry took a swipe at the fans and, and the media. But I think he might be onto something here. At the same time, I have this question about, what's going to happen in Dallas. But the reason why I'm saying he might be onto something is listen to this. Jones was speaking about the Parsons deal, and he pointed back to something that happened last time they signed a player to a mega deal, Dak Prescott. He said, quote, "Just because we sign him doesn't mean that we are going to have him. He was hurt 6 games last year. Seriously, I remember signing a player for the highest paid at the position in the league, and he got knocked out 2/3 of the year, Dak Prescott." So there's a lot of things that you can think about, just as the player does when you're thinking about committing and guaranteeing money. What that tells me right there is Jerry Jones is having second thoughts about Micah Parsons. He's having second thoughts about signing him to a mega deal, because as the player's going through the same process of thinking, man, do I really want to play for this team? If I'm having question about it, well, they better pay me, to keep me. You're talking about the richest contract in NFL history for a non-quarterback is probably going to go to Micah Parsons, simply because, he's the best 3-4 outside backer in the game. He's not a 4-3 defensive end. He's the best outside backer in the game right now. So what I'm saying is that Jerry Jones might be onto something here is this. Oli McNeil gets signed to a deal last year. Now, it wasn't break the bank, highest paid defensive tackle in the league, but you're talking about a $22 million deal on average when that deal kicks in, and he gets knocked out, week 15, and he's going to be out this entire season, probably until November. So I get what Jerry Jones is saying. That, now we have to worry about injury, and we have to worry about the what ifs. We just signed Dak Prescott last year to, $60 million or whatever it was, and he gets knocked out for 2/3 of the year. So he's starting to weigh and think heavily about injury here. And that's probably what's clouding up these contracts. Same thing that we've seen with some of the rookies, that we want to pull back some of that guaranteed money, should you have injury. Well, to make matters worse, over the weekend too, or it might have been last Friday, the Bengals owner, Brown, who's just as old as Jerry Jones, was kind of saying similar things, but in a different light, where they want to pull back some of the guaranteed money because they don't want to pay players that are sitting in jail. That was his comment. That we don't want to pay players that are going to potentially sit in jail. Now, he didn't mean that Shamar Stewart was going to go to jail. He just said that, well, if something happens and this player screws up and they do end up going to prison or jail, we aren't paying you. Unlike some of the other teams in the league that have done that, we're not going to do that. I think it was kind of a crappy thing to say, but I get what he's saying, is that they're trying to protect some of this guaranteed money for the, if it woulda, coulda, shoulda kind of thing happens. Like, you can't predict the future. But does Micah Parsons remain a Cowboy? Does he even play this year? I say right now the road's pretty rough in Dallas. And I'd say the road is even rougher in Cincinnati for Trey Hendrickson. Interesting conversation, interesting statements by these guys. I guess give me your thoughts here. Do you think that the Lions made a bad move by giving Oli McNeil it was a good deal. It wasn't the best deal in the world. I think they got a discount on Oli McNeil. But do you think that they made a mistake because Oli McNeil happened to get injured?
No, not at all. And I have a little something to add to all of this. So Cowboys executive vice president Stephen Jones, after his father was heckled by these people in the crowd, said, "It doesn't change anything." Stephen Jones said of fans calling for the Cowboys to pay Micah, "We want to pay Micah too. He's got to want to be paid." He's got to want to be paid? What does that mean? Of course Micah Parsons wants to be paid. Why wouldn't he? He's a 3-time All-Pro and 4-time Pro Bowler in the NFL in 4 seasons. and still has something to prove, and in the eyes of the Cowboys, what does that mean? He's got to want to be paid.
I'm wondering if they're not coming to the table, if maybe he's holding out a little bit. Maybe he's trying to say he needs to be practicing if he wants to be paid, or I don't know how to take it. I don't know the rest of the context of that conversation, but I would say that's the only thing that would come to mind initially is maybe that there's some contractual issues that they're just not budging on, they being Micah Parsons and his agent, if he has one.
Yeah. Yeah. So the article I read about this, they were mystified. They have no clue what he means by it doesn't change anything. We want to pay Micah too. He's got to want to be paid.
Interesting stuff. All right, now let's get into some Lions news here. So sure. I want to throw this at everybody real quick. Did Isaac Tesla prove that Brad Holmes' mystery, pick in the third round, going up and getting Isaac Tesla, did he just prove to everybody that he's smarter than everybody else? And the reason why I'm asking that or saying that, I'm going to ask the question to you guys in the comments, obviously in the chat right now, and to you, Eric, is if Tesla and Lovett continue to rise in camp and both have solid rookie campaigns, could you see a scenario where the Lions trade St. Brown in 2 seasons?
Ooh. Because of the cost.
Because of the cost, number one, but two, they're already comparing Lovett to St. Brown, which is funny because last week I said that same exact thing to y'all on the show. And then 2 days, 3 days later, it's printed in the media and St. Brown says the same damn thing. I'm like, this dude is like a mini St. Brown right now by the way he's working in camp. So that's the question. Do you think that the Lions would end up trading St. Brown if Tesla and Lovett come on strong this year and possibly throughout next season? I mean, they're going to have to get some targets, right? I think that's the biggest thing. We're going to have to get some targets, but that's the first question. Second question, similar to the last, should the Lions trade Jameson Williams in place of Tesla if he proves that he can win his routes? Meaning he's fast, he's 4.4 speed, he's got size, bigger than J-Mo, he's been known not to drop any passes. If he proves to be that guy, right, that you just have to feed the football to, that's another argument for your 2 top paid guys, or will be top paid guys next season in Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams. Where is the future for Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams if these guys, strike it rich early?
Yeah, something like that is bound to happen. We are bound to either have like where we give a franchise tag to J-Mo or something, because we're just not going to be able to afford 2 number 1 wide receivers. It's not going to happen. One of them is going to have to go. And if Tesla steps up big time, man, in a year or 2, that could be a possibility. But I doubt it with the glue guy that St. Brown is. I would see it more with J-Mo. But the one that I see getting traded before either of them is Khalif Raymond. I really think that if number 19, Dominic Lovett, comes on like I think he's going to come on, and like you and everybody else is thinking, that I think you could see Khalif Raymond being traded sooner rather than later, especially if Dominic Lovett can be a kick and punt returner. If he can do it, then, man, the kid catches everything, and he's all over the field. He would be a great 4th wide receiver, kind of like Khalif Raymond is right now.
It's a good problem. Obviously, I can't imagine not having St. Brown on this team. He's been one of my favorite players for a long time now with the Lions, heading into his 5th season, the leader of this team, the leader of the offense. I can't imagine it happening, but at the same time, I think that Brad Holmes' mastery it's undeniable. And I know it's just camp, and I know it's early in camp, but if this trend continues, Brad just really screwed up this wide receiver room with a lot of good depth. In a good way, he screwed it up. because it's going to put some pressure on some guys. It's going to put some pressure on Brad to make a decision, on money and or getting draft picks. And like, I don't see St. Brown going anywhere. I think if anyone's out, it could be JMO at some point. But then again, I think that JMO's going to have a good year, and I'm hoping that doesn't happen either. All right, Aiden Hutchinson update. There's no links. There's no articles, just like the last one on this one. Look, Aiden looks really good. And we've heard it from multiple sources, seen it with our own eyes. He had a couple of quotes over the past few days. One where he said that, first day of OTAs, I went out there, I got kicked, I got stepped on. You think of it, everything under the sun on that leg, right? On that injured leg. He says, after practice, I got up and I was like, all right, we're good. Very, very similar to something that I've been talking about for a while, that these guys, when they come back from injury, they have to hit, right? They have to get beat up in practice or in a game and then finally realize I'm okay. This right here is great, that he's already kind of gotten through some of the injury phase and potential re-injury phase, and he feels fine, which tells me come game time, it's not going to be up in the old noggin that he's worried about getting injured and he's just going to go play. So that's great news. He also said this, man. He says, quote, we're going to be shooting for that same trend, referencing having the best season after a major injury. And what he means by that is he said he's had his best seasons after coming back from something. So imagine, or go back to U of M, right? Breaks his leg, comes back his junior season, has the best season ever. Same thing could happen this year, right? Breaks his leg, other leg, come back and might have his best season ever again. He also said that, quote, I'm at a point now in my career where it's like you're shooting for the stars every year. And if that's not the expectation and standard that you put to yourself, it's got to be that way. So he was asked some questions like, where does he see himself this year? And can he perform like he has in the past? And he says, if you think that my third year was supposed to be my best year in the NFL, you're wrong. Like that's he's scratching the surface still is kind of what he was saying. I forget who was interviewing him. It might have been Sirius XM where he said that. Like, he's going to be even better every year, year after year, which is great. Lastly here, for me, Broderick Martin. Bad news. Bad news, Broderick. He is the fourth team nose tackle right now. He didn't get a lot of reps on Saturday. I know that you and I were, I was looking for Broderick. I was like, where is he? I don't see him. I don't see him on the field. I don't see him in, practice. He was there. He just wasn't in practice. He was kind of off to the side. Reeder, Lopez, Adams, all in front of Broderick Martin right now. I don't think that's a big surprise with Reeder and Lopez. But Adams, Miles Adams, much, much smaller than Broderick Martin. We might be seeing the end of Broderick Martin in Detroit if he doesn't pick it up in the preseason games. Thoughts on all that?
Yeah, Broderick, I just didn't, just like you, I didn't see him out there much. I didn't really get to watch a single play where he was in because I really wasn't paying attention to the defensive line when the fourth and fifth string guys were out there. I was too busy watching the wide receivers tear it up out there. But I did pay attention when Hassanin was out there, which was limited. And I was really hoping for Broderick Martin to have a big day, and he did not have that on Saturday. And no, Kevin Barr, I cannot get a refund on that number 99 jersey. You don't know how many jerseys I have, Kevin Barr. I have so many.
It's insane.
Like, I was telling Will at practice on Saturday that I have to buy like 15 freaking jerseys this year because Rakestraw has a new number, so my Rakestraw jersey is no good. Terrion Arnold has a new number, so that jersey is no good. Gibbs has a new jersey, so that one's no good. JMO's got a new jersey, so that one's no good. There's like 7 or 8 players that I have to get new jerseys for that all changed numbers this year, and then I want to get some of the rookies this year. So, and I got Broderick Martin. But you know what? I got him a 2 bets jersey last year in the preseason, and I still got that one. Maybe I'll wear that tomorrow or the next day that we're on.
So, quick, just a couple of quick things. Nick P in the chat asked how Keith Cooper looked. He looked great.
Yes.
The minute that I saw, well, put it this way, when I saw the offensive line completely collapse on the left side, and then I looked who was getting out of that scrum, that pile, it was Keith Cooper. The offense wasn't able to move the ball. Like Keith Cooper, he was totally off my radar. I didn't think, let me pull up his info. I didn't think for a minute that this guy was really going to have a shot. 6'5", 280 pounds, so he's definitely a tweener. He's a little bit small to be up on the defensive line, but he's not small to be on the outside or kind of that Josh Paschal role. That's another thing. We still don't have Josh Paschal in practice, so we haven't seen the best of what this defense is. I'm trying to pull up his college stuff. What else is in the chat there? Eric, there's a question if you're going anymore. Oh, you answered it. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to the very last one. One of my super fans that I sent to a Michigan Panthers game, I got her tickets. She sent me a ticket for the very last training camp because she had somebody back out. So I will be going to training camp with who? I think the Texans or Miami, one of the two.
It's Texans.
Texans,
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Texans.
Yeah. So I'm going to go to that, and then I'll spend a day down in Detroit, and then I'll go to the preseason game. So I will be at training camp with with the teams both practicing together. So basically a scrimmage. So I'll get to see Goff play against some first stringers there, and Hutch and everybody play, and then spend a day in Detroit and go to the preseason game where no one will play.
Here's what I love about Keith Cooper. I'm just taking a look at some of his stats from last year. But most importantly, let's take a look at this guy's bio together. It's pretty impressive stuff. Let me get it up on the screen here.
I do think, though, that if Morton does not get his business stuff up to snuff here really soon, he will be one of the first people cut when cuts come down.
Yeah, I could see that happening too. Which, I mean, it sucks because the guy's got so much size. It's hard to find that type of size, but he hasn't put it all together yet. And now he's let guys steamroll, right over top of him. And it's not to say that it was a wasted pick or he didn't work out and Brad made a giant mistake. No, I mean, I think the injuries last year obviously didn't help, and it kind of dropped them to the bottom. And now you got new guys in that are just hungry, right? And they're getting a better shot right now. So let's take a look at the screen here. Keith Cooper.
Yeah, so it says something when Keith Cooper, an undrafted free agent, can come in and put together a better resume than his name's escaping me now. Broderick Morton.
Yeah, I mean, different position though, yeah?
Yeah. But
so
that just tells you that there is something going on. I don't know what it is, if it's between the ear or if it's injury.
Well, I think the injury was the biggest part last year, but let's move on to Keith Cooper here for a moment. So as a senior in 2024, he was a second team All Big 12 conference, voted on by the coaches. He was a third team All Big 12 conference by Phil Steele. He was started all 12 games at defensive end. He was a four-time honorary game captain versus Oklahoma, TSU, Arizona, BYU. He led the team in sacks, 3.5. I mean, it's not a ton, but he led the team too. So it could be a scheme thing. Remember that. Same thing that happened with Shamar Stewart. It's a scheme thing, right? Tied for team lead in tackles, though, for loss, which is 8.5. That's the number that is most impressive for me. Oh, what happened there? Right here. is the tackles for loss. So I just did it again. All right, I won't try to highlight it. Second team Big 12 edge defenders in quarterback hits with 10. Ninth among Power 4 edge defenders in quarterback hits. He posted a career high 46 tackles. He set a career best with 9 tackles on senior night versus Baylor. I mean, it's not a bad competition, right? Baylor's a pretty good school. 3 tackles for loss at Oklahoma. I'm not sure what these numbers mean. Recovered the first career fumble versus Utah. Houston's second longest fumble return. Blocked the first career kick in the season opener versus UNLV. 705 snaps played, 627 at defensive end, 77 on special teams. So that's a great number. The fact that he's getting special teams work, but he's primarily a defensive end. 78.8 run defense grade, 74.2 defensive grade, 81.8 on special teams, 7 pressures versus Arizona, was 6th among the Power 4 edge defenders in Week 12. A 69 pass rush grade versus Arizona, which was 3rd among Big 12 edge defenders in Week 12. The 6 pressures at TCU were also 6. 78.1 run defense grade versus Kansas State. He grade ranked 2nd among Big 12 edge defenders during Week 10. Prior to Houston, he spent 3 seasons at Tulane, where he had 37 career games, 1,459 snaps. I'm not going to go through the rest of this. I'm just going to scroll through it so you guys can kind of see it, read it later. You can pause, rewind. 22 tackles, 4 TFLs, 3.5 sacks in 2022.
You want to know what I take away from all this?
Pretty good football player.
He was a team captain.
Yeah.
What does Brad covet with his draft picks?
He was an honorary captain, I think it said, in 4 games.
Yeah, so he loves when people are team captains. He loves leadership. He loves guys that rise above and are voted upon by their fellow teammates. So these guys are the cream of the crop, even if it's at a smaller school.
So I'm looking at the stats a little bit deeper here. I'm just trying to look at where did he have his production against. To me, it matters. Like if you're getting really good production at against soft schools, that doesn't mean squat to me. If you're getting good production at, against good competition, that's what matters more to me. You should beat up the crap schools. You should.
What school did he go to?
Houston.
So that's not the smallest school in the world.
No.
Nick P writes, pretty sure Houston runs a 3-4 scheme. Is that correct?
I have no idea.
I wonder if he's that Sam linebacker edge role player that they've been looking for, searching for. Well, at least Aaron Glenn was searching for 4 years. I don't know how Kelvin Shepard sees that role, if it's as important as what Aaron Glenn thought it was.
I can find out real quick.
Okay. Trace puts, there's a Rocked On jersey, JAC. It's on the Buy Me a Coffee site, and I just purchased one the other day. It'll be here pretty soon.
Yeah, someone was asking when I was at camp, they were like, why do you have Khalif Raymond's jersey on? What's so significant about that? And I'm like, it's just my number. 11's always been my number, and it's a Rocked On jersey. So, man, I cannot find. I'm trying to watch a play.
Yep.
I'll have to dig into that a little bit more to figure it out. At the end of the day, look, he's 280, so he's definitely defensive end. He's more of that bigger defensive end, which is probably going to be the can crusher side.
Yeah, Brent Lighton says Keith Cooper is more of an inside-outside big edge player at 280.
Yeah, so he's probably going to line up on the inside shoulder of the tackle more often on the right side.
Mm-hmm.
So I would assume that I think that's the 4I. And then he would probably also be used on the outside a little bit standing up. With that, being 280. I think he can still. I don't know his speed though. I don't know how. I mean, he looked good. I mean, I just saw him shutting down the run.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe that he was another UDFA. Fine.
Yeah, it's crazy. But we always have one that makes it.
It seems like it every year.
Yeah, no matter how good we are, we always have somebody that surprises us and makes the initial 53 anyway. Gets picked up, put on the.
All right, so his 40 time is not the greatest from what I'm seeing here. It was a 5 flat.
Oh wow.
So that's not the greatest, especially if you're going to be on the outside trying to rush the end. 24 reps on the bench. His vertical jump is 30 inches. Broad jump was just 9'6". He's got big hands, 10 and 3/4 inch hands. He's got 34 and 7/8 inch arms. You know I love that. 83 and 3/4 inch wingspan. So let's dial up his ape score. Let's see where he is. They're reporting him as 6'3". I don't know if
Jay-Z
I thought he was 6'5".
Yeah, Jay-Z says at 6'5", 280, his size stands out above the rest. His arm length and wingspan were in the top 7 for edge rushers among the nearly 300 in the Athletics The Beast draft guide.
Yeah, so his apes index was a 1.09, which is elite. So that's your wingspan divided by your height, and I did 6'5", not 6'3". So that's going to be 83 and 3/4 inches divided by 77 inches. And that's 1.087 rounded up to 1.09. So on my score, you know what I'll do today is I'll go through what I can call my RAS, but it's just, you know what it is. It's my analytics sheet and metric sheet. I'm going to put him in and see what he turns out to be, what his score would be. Obviously his speed's not good. That's not good at all. His shuttle was a 4.73. His 3-cone was a 7.51. I don't know where that stacks up. I can't remember all the numbers off the top of my head. But anyway, forget the size and the stats because we know that height, weight, speed, and all that means nothing to Brad Holmes. The guy can play football. He has surprised everybody so far. And what I saw on Saturday was a guy that can win. And that's all that matters. Those long arms, man, using that long stab arm, and just being able to set the edge that way by keeping the tackle at bay. One, you've got an arm free, but two, he can drop back and then go and rush, right? Or he can throw that tackle to the side and then get to the running back. There's so many things that you can do when you have a long arm, stance. It really helps these guys. All right, what else is on the sheet? It's 10 o'clock. You got to run, don't you?
Yep, I'm up against it. I got to get flying. So my last 15 seconds here. I talked to Will at training camp about starting something new, and I think I'm going to try to do it. And I'm going to start today. Today is going to be day 1. Okay. And I know I've done a lot more days than today, but today is going to be my official day 1 of every day wearing a Detroit Lions jersey. I'm going to try to break the Guinness World Record for the most consecutive days wearing a Detroit Lions jersey.
You're going to have to compete against me. It was funny when we were in the truck and I brought up the Guinness book. I'm like, I wonder if there's a Guinness book for this.
Yeah.
It's funny, man. But anyway, keep going. I think it's great.
So I'm going to start. So today's day number 1, but you guys know every day, last week, every day, I wear a Detroit Lions jersey because about a year ago, I took everything that did not have a Lions jersey logo on it, anything, and I threw it away. Donated it to Goodwill, wherever, put it in the garage sale. And I do have nothing but Lions jerseys and Lions polos and Lions shirts in my closet. That is it. So every single day I wear a different Detroit Lions jersey every single day. So I'm going to establish myself as day 1 today, starting my goal to break the record, if there is a record, for the most consecutive days wearing a Lions jersey.
So I just Googled real quick, and I don't see anything for Guinness book.
Yeah.
But
So
you know
we're
what? We'll just have to keep looking. Maybe we have to create one. I know you can create them. But you know, it's kind of easy to get receipts because it's here every day.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so I don't know how many days in a row I've done it, but it's well over a year.
Kevin Barr, what are you talking about? If it's lion stuff, what do you think this is? There you go. And you don't know what underwear I got on, so I also got lion sweatpants on right now. I didn't even put on some regular dress pants today.
Yeah, I don't own a piece of clothing that does not have a Lions logo on it.
Matter of fact, I think the sites are still 20% off. Lion Supply and others. I think they're still 20% off with free shipping right now. So if you want to get your stuff there, great. Otherwise, visit John Yu today and go get your stuff at Pro Sports Zone. All right.
Quick question for you. Are we on tomorrow since you're going to be at training camp?
No.
Okay. So I will see you guys on Wednesday.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Yep.
All right. So Eric just reminded me of something. So tomorrow, no morning show. I'll be at training camp. That is the plan unless something changes tonight, which I don't expect it to change tonight. I'll be at training camp tomorrow. I'll be bringing you guys some updates throughout the day. And normally when I go, we've totally forgot to do our little bit afterwards to go stand underneath the trees. I think we were just so damn hot. We needed to get into the air conditioning. But I'll try to go live throughout. You know, last year when I was live, I think I had the guys on and I was doing updates during. So that might have been with Chef back then that I was doing the live updates. So that would be kind of fun if somebody, you know, was able to do that this year to keep the show rolling and do live updates. But I'll try to set up a show. I'll try to access it from my phone, or I'll bring my iPad and see if I can't pull something off. Eventually we'll get there. They don't like equipment in Allen Park. So we have a few more things I want to get to before I get off today. And then I might jump in tonight. I might not. But as far as tickets, I think that someone's sending us some more tickets for August 6th. And if those become available, I want to make sure that we get some out. I think we're real close to hitting another milestone to give away another training camp jacket. Let's see where we're at today. See how many subscribers we got this morning. So if you are a newbie and you have subscribed and you have turned on notifications, you are automatically entered and the bot will recognize you. So as soon as we get to this next milestone, come into the live stream. Yeah, we are just 15 subscribers away. So as soon as we get 15 more subs, you guys will unlock the next milestone. We'll give away another training camp jacket. To finish out the day, let me just go through the rest of my notes. There's so many things we didn't get to. A couple of things. I wanted to roll through a video here of Dominic Lovett. So if you want to stick around for a few more minutes, I want to play this video of Dominic Lovett. This is from last week, I believe. It's about a 5-minute video. Give me 1 second, I'll bring it in. While I'm doing that, you guys let me know in the chat, in the comments later, what is the game that you guys are most excited about this season? Like if there's one game that you could pick to go to, what is that game? And then also don't forget, we're trying to do a August 14th training camp Warrior of a Day giveaway where I would love to bless somebody with a jersey that is a cancer survivor, a cancer warrior. And that's all because of the channel members of this channel that have been so gracious to donate to the channel. This jersey is really from y'all. And again, I want to say thank you. But if you have somebody that you would like to nominate, it's open to cancer warriors and survivors for tickets to the August 14th date. I'll be obviously there to make sure that we get you your jersey that day. All right, here we go. Take a look at the screen. We're going to bring in Dominic Lovett. All right. Dominic Lovett. Again, this is a couple of days ago. Let's see what he had to say.
Like, if the quarterback's throwing you the ball, he's trying.
You mentioned the contested catches, Dom, a couple of them today. What goes into being good in traffic and having that concentration?
Really just being confident, like, if the quarterback's throwing you the ball, he's trusting that you're going to make that play. So really just having confidence when the ball is coming your way, looking the ball in, and just catching it. Like, honestly, you can't do anything. I think about it, you can't do anything until you catch the ball. So no matter if it's behind you, above you, low, high, right on you, like, you can't do anything until you catch the ball. So don't worry about getting hit. Don't worry about getting none of that, because it's football. You're going to get hit, so you might as well catch it.
Went back and watched your Georgia tape between the last time we talked to you, and a lot of motion stuff, a lot of decoy stuff, some gimmicky stuff in there. How different is what you are being asked to in this offense versus what you're doing in Georgia's scheme?
Honestly, it's not that different. I feel like, football, like they say, it's a copycat league. We might take ketchup and just call it mustard. We might take mustard and call it mayonnaise, So I feel like it's just all about, your skill set and how the coach can, use you.
Reference that chip on your shoulder, asked Amon Ra, there's a kinship with being day 3 draft picks that kind of come in with something to prove. Do you feel that sense, like you should have been drafted higher and you got to prove it every day out here?
I mean, I feel like because everybody wants to go like first round. But, honestly, when it came down to it, I was just glad that, that my name came across the screen, and I was one of the, how many draft picks is it, like 256? 260. So I was just glad that I was just one of the 260 that got called. And then, with the Lions organization, calling me and taking a chance on me, that's all I really needed, because, I just love to play football. So when I got the opportunity, I was jumping for joy. And, every day that I'm in the building, I try to learn from the vets how they go about their recovery, how they go about, taking notes, what do they do on their off days, once again, just, being a sponge in every which way I can.
So it does improve you. You don't have a list like Amon Ra had of everything drafted.
Nah, not for real, It did kind of hurt a little bit, but I feel like that pain, I just kind of turned that into like fuel, because now that we out here, the draft over with now. You can't keep, looking in the rearview mirror. You just got to keep looking forward. You just got to keep taking steps.
And you got an organization that's giving you a shot.
Yeah, so that's really all I can, actually, that's really all I can ask for, and I'm thankful to the fullest.
I know it's early, but just looking at John Morton's offense, how do you feel like it fits you and highlights what you can bring to the table?
I really feel like whatever your skill set is, like, he know, like, how to put guys which way. He's looked at all of our film, as Ricky just came in from college, same old, all the vets, they all been here, so he know they game, and just how the offense fits us, I just feel like he's just wonderful. So I feel like you can put anybody anywhere and still get the same type of exposure or get the same type of positiveness.
How similar is it to what you kind of
Can you,
how similar is the offense to what you kind of learned with, Coach Monk? And obviously he's played, I mean, not last year, but I mean, the years before. I mean, obviously he's an NFL guy now too. So, I mean, is the offense, you feel like, somewhat similar to some of the stuff that you had at Georgia?
I actually didn't have Ty Morgan.
Huh?
I actually didn't have I had Bobo. Okay. But honestly, I feel like it's the same. People just change like the terminology. Okay. I feel that when Monkey had left, he had handed the offense to Bobo, and I feel like that Bobo did a great job with it. And then now coming to the league, a lot of the same concepts go into Johnny Moe's offense. We just call it different things. So I feel like that I was plugged right in, to a great situation, great people to learn from.
Johnny Moe was the fastest receiver coming out there. He came out combine.
Yeah, he shows us his speed in the film all the time.
Has he ever shown you any of his clips?
Nah, he be showing us like 1960 clips of football.
What's he show? Like, what's he pull up? What's he trying to?
He just show us like the install like through like a film. So he just be funny.
I know you praised Jackson Meeks. At last time we talked to you, he's out here balling too. How happy does that make you to see your guy also kind of capitalizing on some of his opportunities?
It really just shows that all you need is an opportunity, and when you've been training and you've been having that chip on your shoulder like Jackson Meeks since college, when the ball comes your way, you have no choice but to make a play. And to see him make that play and get hype, it brought me nothing but, you know, joy and laughter. And then I told him, I was like, you know, we just got to keep stacking the days. And go for all, you know, the rookies, all of us trying to, you know, make the team. And, you know, when the ball come your way, you know, you just got to, you know, make plays.
Is there a better feeling than the crowd going crazy like that for you?
There's no better feeling than seeing your guys do good. That's what I'm going to say.
All right, Mr. Dominic Lovett, man. He's a bit high-strung, yeah? High-strung, nervous character. A lot of action coming out of those hands. And I love all the action, obviously, on the field, man. Really impressed by him already. Obviously, his play on the field so far is exactly what we're hoping out of guys that are drafted late. I want to highlight just a few things that he said, which this is super impressive for a guy that is this young, that just entered the league. He is keyed in on maybe three things, three main priorities of a rookie wide receiver in the NFL. One, he doesn't worry about anything before the catch. He doesn't worry about getting hit. He doesn't worry if he's going to get hit after the catch. The first thing he wants to do is secure that ball. That's veteran speak, right? That's a guy that's not hearing footsteps. Now, he's going to take a lick at some point, and that may change a little, right? He might second guess not looking around, but hopefully he doesn't. But that is veteran speak by saying something like that and then practicing it that way. And you know it's showing up when in practice we can see it. We can see that he's fighting for every football. He doesn't care about getting hit. He just wants to secure the catch. That's a super positive dude right there. He also was talked about or asked about being drafted, if that kind of put a chip on his shoulder. And he said, yeah, you know, kind of yes, you know, initially, but he's more so just humble. He's just happy to be here. He's happy that his name got called. And most importantly, he doesn't care about the draft anymore. It's eyes forward, man. It's head up, shoulders, chest out, eyes forward. Again, that is veteran speak. That is someone that understands where he is, where his feet are today, and to make the best of it. And then this next part, again, this is something that rookies don't do enough of. He's keyed in on the things that matter most to the longevity of your career and what things you can do now that could potentially give you an opportunity to stick around. How are these vets taking notes? What are they doing for recovery? How are they practicing? So he's trying to be a sponge, to use his word, and soak up as much of this energy and information from the vets in trying to do or replicate what they're doing. That type of attitude is going to keep you on a team, because if you're keeping your body healthy, if you're recovering the right way, you're taking care of yourself on your days, you know, your days off especially, you're not just lounging around eating popcorn, watching movies, you're in the cold tubs, you're doing whatever it is that you need to do to make sure that your body's ready for the next day, because optimal performance level is everything for these guys. They have to be the highest energy guys on the field, day in, day out, making plays if they want to earn a spot on this roster. That was really it. Those are the three things that I took out of this interview of Dominic Lovett, man, number 19 right now for the Detroit Lions, a rookie drafted in the 7th round who has really shown out in practice. And I guess the last thing that I'll say, he was asked about Jackson Meeks. I think there's some kind of relationship there. I'm not sure what it is. Honestly, I don't remember if they played together, and if they did, where. I don't know if it was at the last spot for both of them, but, you know, watching this guy, you know, make the play that he did in practice on Saturday, talking about the one-handed play, and then Jackson turns to the crowd, gets the crowd all pumped up. How happy that made him, full of smiles, right? Good positive energy, supporting his, you know, his teammates. So this dude has it all. I'm telling you, he's going to be somebody in this league. If he can continue doing what he's doing now, he's going to be somebody. And I hope that the Lions keep him somehow. They're going to have to keep him. And I think what it's going to require is some handshake deals from some of these vets to possibly get cut and come back on the vet squad so that they can snake a guy onto the roster without putting them through, the practice squad where you're going to lose them. So if the vets truly want to win a championship, they understand that. They get that, where they understand, look, if we want to win, we need to have these players available. I can always be available because I'm a vet. I can choose to play where I want to play. But we need these younger guys that we can't keep them if they're not on the roster because someone's going to take them if they're this good. I'm telling you right now, someone's coming after Dominic Lovett day one if he gets cut. I guarantee it. So good stuff, man. Thanks for the update. They're both were at Georgia, says Brent Lighton. Thank you for helping me out there with the research. Brent always does a good job, man, listening in the chat there and giving us some information if we're looking for it. Appreciate you doing that, Brent. All right, that's it, man. I'm going to bounce for the day. I'll be back later with some videos, and unless something really crazy pops off today, I don't think we have a whole lot of updates because we're not going to have any injuries today. These guys are going to stay healthy, and I just pounded my wood table because it's not happening. So you guys have a wonderful day. Go on Pride, go Detroit Lions. Appreciate all of the new subscriptions this morning. I'm glad that we earned a chance to have you as a subscriber to the channel. And thank you to the new members that joined this morning as well. You guys are truly the best part of Rockhound Detroit Lions. It's the members, man. It's the subscribers. It's the listeners now and later. It's everybody that has made this show what it is today. It's your channel, man. We're just here running the show. So thank you. Appreciate you. From one Lions fan to another, man. We'll see you guys later. Take care.